Hello everybody, welcome. It is Sunday, 10 o'clock in the morning, actually at night, not in the morning, but I am going to do my wrap up. I read, well, almost 11 books, not quite, but we'll get through them and I'll tell you, well, I don't really have a page count, but I'll tell you what I liked about them and stuff. The first book I read was Wolf Children, Ami and Yuki, and this is about a group of a woman who marries a guy who's a wolf man, and of course she has to take care of her children. This book was 5 out of 5. I loved it. I cried at this book, believe it or not. It's really long, but it goes by really fast because there's hardly any words, like there's just a few words, and it's really, really, really good. If you love romance, if you love slice of life or real life drama, then you would love this. The second book I finished was American Gods by Neil Gaiman, and this completed, that completed the blue on the cover. This completed the last name begins with G. My last name begins with G. So this is about a boy named Shadow, and he gets out of prison in the beginning of the novel, and his wife dies and his friend dies as well. And he meets this guy named Mr. Wednesday, who is a god, and he kind of like works for him. This book is a 3 stars. I loved the beginning, I loved the ending because it was really fun and really like exciting. But the middle part is where I had the most trouble. There was certain parts where Wednesday would take Shadow to other areas and say, oh, you're not allowed to be with me, or blah, or whatever. And I'm just like, why? I want to see more action in this novel, more God action, and just, yeah. It was very slow, and that's why I rated it a 3 out of 5. The next book I finished was a book I wanted to read, and this was kind of a reread. This was Sailor Moon Volume 6, and this is kind of the continuation of Usagi's story. And this is about Usagi, who is the Princess of the Moon, and her attempts to save the world. And it is really, really a great, there's different character development. So we have, on this cover, we have Sailor Moon, Sailor Venus, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Pluto, who's a new one, Sailor Jupiter, and Sailor Mars. And this one, I also watched the episodes of Sailor Moon Crystal, which I highly suggest you watch. It's kind of a reenactment of the actual graphic novels, which is really amazing. And I love the graphic novels because they're really good additions. And that one I rated a 5 out of 5. Love that one. The next book I read was in this beautiful blue, is The 101 Dalmatians by Jodie Smith, and this was for the favorite challenge to read someone else's favorites, and I believe a lot of people has read this and said it was their favorite. This is really interesting. It's very different from the animated version, although I really want to see the animated version again because I read this book. And what my favorite part of this book was probably when all the Dalmatians cover themselves in mud to get rid of the spots, and they're in this van. And the van has like tinted windows or something, so they have to close their eyes because Cruella de Vil is like driving the car past them. And it's really funny because all these 101 Dalmatians, or well, more than 100 Dalmatians, are in the book. Also, there's a little bit of, other characters that are different. There's two groups of couples in this book as well. And that one I rated a 4 out of 5. It was really good. The next book I read was The Interview with the Vampire, Claudia's story. Not really that great. Love the artwork. I mean, I absolutely love this artwork. I think it reminds me of the movie so much. But I really didn't like the adaptation, really, of this. It felt like it was right from the book. Right from the book, Interview with the Vampire. I want Claudia's story. And that is one reason why I gave this a 3 out of 5. Because it just did not live up to my expectations. I really wanted to find out Claudia's life story, her background, where she came from, that kind of stuff. So yeah, how did her mom die and all that stuff. Even though she's kind of a baby almost, and she does die. The next book I read and absolutely loved was An Officer and a Mermaid, and this is by Blair Edens, and this is a novella. It's like 100 pages, and it was so good. It's about a girl who, basically, she's from like the 1700s or something, and she's from Africa, so they believe in these like cultures and stuff, and she gets turned into a mermaid for her dad because her dad is gonna die and stuff, and he doesn't want her to die, so he turns her into a mermaid, sends her to the future. So she lives a mermaid for about 200 years, and she meets this guy, really, really hot guy, and she saves him, and he's like a captain, and it's just really cute, really loving. I love this. Didn't have any sex in it, really, hardly one scene of sex, and it was just really, really good. So highly recommend this. This was a 4 out of 5. The next book I read was another kind of one. This is Rooney Cachi by Nobuo Watsuki. And this is about a guy who is one of the swordsmen. It's kind of based on Japanese history, so if you really love Japanese history, I highly suggest this. I like Japanese history, but I've seen the anime, and I love the anime a lot more, just because it's easier to explain. The translation is really good. This one, the translation was not really good, and I kind of felt like some of the information, like extra information, which I really loved, that by each character. I really like that, but I didn't really feel the flow of the story, and I didn't really feel like I like the action, I like the characters, but I don't know, the translation didn't really work for me, and I rated that 3 out of 5. The next book I read was Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Rodrick Rules, and this was for my read a book in one sitting, but I did that with another one, and this one I just read for fun. And this one is about a boy named, of course, Greg, and his brother Rodrick, and it's really all about the misadventures about them two, and kind of a slice of life. This is like a slice of life, middle grade. Greg is very, what's it called, a happy-go-lucky kid, and he's very like, makes fun of people and stuff. He's like a class clown. So yeah, I also highly recommend this book, but I recommend the first book better because I read that one in one sitting, and it was amazing. And this one was only a 4 out of 5. The last book I read for the Booktubeathon was Prince of Persia, which is by multiple authors, if you can see down there. And this was originally kind of designed for like a background to the games. And if you remember the games, they were in a long time ago. I don't really remember. In like the 80s, I think. Yeah. And it was in the Apple II. And it was like a platform game. This one's kind of the story, but it's kind of, what I didn't really like about this was the characters. They had the same character as this guy right here, who he like goes through, like, I guess in 3 different stories, and it's kind of confusing because it intermingles, and it has time travel, something about time, but it's really, like, I liked the pictures in it, but I just did not like the really story, and I didn't get it. So, yeah, this was a 2 out of star for me, so yeah, sorry, but didn't really like that. The last book I kind of started, but I only got 38 pages through, so I'm on chapter 5, is The Motion by Andy Weir. Absolutely is loving this book. This is about a guy who gets trapped on Mars in a, mission, and the people think he's dead, and he's got no communications whatsoever, so he's trying to figure out how to communicate to these people and how to get help, and also how to survive. So he's planting food and creating different shelters, and it's just really good. It's amazingly good, and even though it does have a lot of tech in there, I think that I will fly through this. And so, yeah, and that is all I read in the Booktubeathon and stuff. I did not do any extra videos, like the videos for the Booktubeathon, but I really enjoyed reading all these books, and yeah, and I hope to see you next year at the Booktubeathon. Yay! And so I completed all my challenges and stuff, and yeah, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!